Hello, everybody, and good day to you. Top of the morning, afternoon, evening, whenever you view this. I am Rosalind Booker, aka Ros B. Ask Ros B. I'm the principal broker, CEO of Arbrook Realty, and I'm a full-service real estate company, and we provide service to those in the residential and commercial real estate industry that want to buy, sell, lease, trade real estate. And I have the pleasure of being with Miss Lauren Cadillac with Cadilac Law today, and she is super amazing. I'm gonna call her my new bestie, professional friend, and we've already made a connection and trying to help some people out of some trouble and get some money. So, Lauren, thank you so much. Why don't you introduce yourself? Tell people a little bit about you.
Well, thanks for having me, Roz. I'm excited to be here. I have like two different camera angles, so I'm trying to. um, I'm Lauren Cadillac. I am the owner and attorney at Cadilac Law. We are an Oak Cliff law firm, and we focus our days on real estate and helping people either acquire, maintain, fix issues with, or preserve for generational issues their real estate. So if you have a real estate problem, we can resolve it. Even if it's not a problem, if you own real estate, we can help you preserve it as well. So estate planning, any type of real estate issues, probate, and we do a lot of tax work as well, Roz. Property tax protests is coming up right now. We do IRS work, and we love to help businesses when they're audited. So we have a very wide variety, but because the focus of and the center of my practice is real estate, I work with a lot of real estate investors. And so I know that's what we're going to be talking about today, how to protect your real estate investments. And so I'm going to be sharing a lot of the knowledge that I share with my clients who are investors who are buying real estate, either flipping or renting it out. So I'm really excited about this.
That's excellent. That's excellent, Lauren. And, I'm getting a lot of question in the real estate industry. I got calls, 3-4 weeks ago. Hey, what's the market doing? Hey, is it a good time to buy? From an investment standpoint, as well as home ownership. And I'm going to always say, because we have to lay our head somewhere, real estate, it is always going to be a good time to be in real estate, whether it's your primary residence or investing, because there's different types of, and it depends on where you are in the states as to what I'm about to say. You have to identify your niche or your niche. Which way do you say it, Lauren?
Well, I grew up in Arizona, and we say niche.
Niche. Okay, that's a lot. I have to do a lot with my mouth to say that. So I'm from Oklahoma, the South. And so I grew up saying niche. So for all practical purposes, as we're talking about real estate investing today, and you're going to be talking about how to protect it, you have to find your niche, okay? So are you going to be a fixer and flipper? That means you're buying and selling. Are you going to be one that's perhaps purchasing turnkey real estate? Maybe it's already a rental property and someone is offsetting or getting rid of their portfolio of rental properties, okay? Are you buying and holding yourself to actually rent? You putting a little work into it and turning that property around for a rental. Also, there are people who are wholesaling. That's kind of like the middleman. That's the bird dog, so to speak. They're basically tying that property up. They're not really putting any work into it at all, but finding the good deal, getting a quote unquote finder's fee, not a commission, but a finder's fee, and passing that on to investors. And you probably experience and see a lot of that, don't you, Lauren, in terms of your customers?
I'm so glad you described it because I hear about people talking about wholesalers all the time, and I actually had no idea what that meant. Okay, I didn't understand. You know, when I think of wholesale, I think of going to like Sam's Club and, you know, buying in bulk or wholesale, so to speak. So that is an interesting topic. And I have actually never had the fortune of meeting someone who is an actual wholesaler.
Oh,
All
wow.
the other roles you explained, I have
Yeah.
met and I've worked with and served my clients, but
Yeah.
not an actual wholesaler.
Gotcha. Gotcha. Well, they exist. Those investors exist. Then you have to determine what type of property is. Are you going to go into multifamily, which is apartments, commercial real estate, like purchasing buildings? What about purchasing residential real estate or condominiums for the purpose of Airbnb? And I'm telling you, some Airbnbs are taking a beating right now. Why? They are depending on the travel industry, and you know, most planes are grounded, but definitely in international travel. I don't know about domestic. Have you heard?
Yeah, I actually, the Wall Street Journal just did a big article about this, and
Mhm.
there are a lot of folks who bought real estate specifically to use it as Airbnb.
Right.
You know, folks who are you own a home and you have like an apartment garage or an extra bedroom and you're doing Airbnb, those people aren't suffering that badly. You know, they already were in the home, it's already a mortgage they're going to spend, whatever.
Hmm.
It's these people who went and specifically bought real estate for the purpose of Airbnb, and I have heard it's definitely
Oh,
worse in some areas than others, but I've heard it's not a great thing to be in right now.
right. Especially those big tickets and where they have high cost to maintain those
Oh yeah.
properties, they are really suffering right now.
Hmm.
There's one more category I wanted to talk about is in terms of a niche or niche is the REITs, real estate investment trusts. So those are corporately owned properties. It's basically good for a long-term investment for a steady stream of income where you get a dividend payout. So, you know, I call it the slow but sure, but that's a way. So back to recap, if you're going to be doing any type of real estate investing, please determine your niche or your niche, because it's like fishing. When you go fishing, it could be an all day thing. And when you cast your line, sometimes you have to stay in one spot before they start biting instead of, oh, I threw it in and took it out in 10 minutes. Oh, let me move over here and then took it and then over here. Then you come home with nothing. So find your niche. Um, a lot of people are like, okay, Roz, as a real estate professional, where do you find some of the best deals? And I know as a real estate professional, we subscribe to a database called MLS, Multiple Listing Service. I don't always put that at the beginning of the list as the number one way for investors to find good deals, because those are market properties and those particular owners, they're wanting top dollar. Okay, but there
Retail.
are some ways that a particular real estate agent can search for you. Like we have a DOM, a days on market counter. For those properties that have been on the market 90 days plus, maybe they're going into pre-foreclosure. Maybe the condition doesn't meet the property price. So maybe in that case, you can go in and offer a lower amount. Some properties may be expired listings or back on the market. And in that case, a real estate professional can search that particular attribute for you. So, you know, a lot of the investors are joining investors clubs, attending meetups. You know, I get a lot of questions of, okay, how can I get education? There are people who are on infomercials in 2 or 3 in the morning. They buy into systems. Some of those systems work and some of them don't. They pay big bucks to be a part of those. You got any comment on that? Because you're laughing.
I'm laughing because it makes me think of Trump University, and the money spent on that. You know, I can't speak to any of those things, but I can say that as an attorney, anyone can get into real estate investing. So, if you watch one of those 2 a.m. shows, I just advise you to talk to a lawyer first before you do any real transacting.
Absolutely.
So,
Yeah, absolutely.
I just giggle because I think of the legal issues that arise. And, there's another one, Roz, and I'm not sure how often you get questions about this, but I get questions about it all the time. And it's the probate properties. Well,
Oh,
Lauren,
yeah.
where do I find a list of probate properties? The probate court? I honestly have no idea.
Yeah, well, yeah, let's talk about court and those properties associated with any type of court. You know, to be successful in any industry, your relationships matter. So, like you and I, developing a relationship with an attorney that has connections to, end users, I mean, that's important. What about divorce attorneys? Those people who may be getting a divorce that have an attorney and they have properties. Well, if you're in a relationship with an attorney that knows people that are getting a divorce, maybe they're able to help you out. That's such as probate attorneys and in real estate attorneys like yourself. When we're talking about different types of investment properties, sometimes people elect not to escrow their property taxes. And when life happens, they can't pay those taxes. Guess what? Their property ends up in default and sold on the porch or the steps of the county courthouse for the taxes. And here's the deal. Sometimes they don't owe, they're not delinquent, but 1 or 2 years. And, there are bird dogs sitting waiting to purchase a property for 10,000, 15, 30,000. But with that, and, you can attest to this, you have to be careful because you can't immediately go fix and flip that property. There's a right of redemption. Maybe you could speak a little bit more about that. Do you have any comments about that?
Yeah, so what you're specifically touching on are tax foreclosures. So there's 2 different times, well, there's multiple different times, but there's 2 main times that you're going to see a property auctioned on the porch. I'm going to use that as the courthouse. So it's usually either a trustee's sale, because in Texas we don't do judicial foreclosure. So either a trustee's sale, which means they haven't paid their mortgage, whoever's staying in the house hasn't paid their note, or a tax sale. Yeah. And Roz, I can tell you that with the way the values have gone up and therefore taxes, 1 to 2 years, you could be in court sooner than that.
Wow.
Yeah, it used to be when the market was less hot, they would wait until there's at least, 5 to 7,000 to collect on. But now I've seen them go, especially when a property is worth 250,000, I've seen them go after the property for as little as like 3,000.
Oh my goodness.
Yes. And so I work kind of both ends, and most lawyers work both sides of the V, really. And I kind of work both ends of these type of transactions. So if someone receives a tax lawsuit, I often will file into court as their attorney and defend them. And I use quotation marks because there's not really a lot of defense, right? Really, my job is usually trying to resolve title issues and get a payment plan or figure out how it's going to get paid for my client to be able to keep the property.
So you basically intercept the sale by making arrangements and a plan,
so to speak. So this is prior to that even. This is when you got notice of the lawsuit. I'm filing in, and so I'm stopping the judgment.
Gotcha.
Which then in turn stops the sale.
Well, I think that's great info, because do people know that they can even reach out to an attorney before they get to this point?
Probably not. As soon as you get the Linebarger in the Dallas area, it's always Linebarger. There's only 3 law firms in all of Texas. that do the collections for the government this way. So as soon as you get that letter from Linebar, you can call an attorney. So another situation I have too, Ross, is sometimes people are at the tax sale. So specifically, I had some clients, 4 or 5 brothers or sisters, and stepmom, dad had died, and then I guess stepmom didn't pay the taxes, but stepmom was also really mean to my clients. So I said, do you want to go try to claim your portion? Because they all had a share, they had a right to this property. And they said, nah, she created this mess. Let's leave her with it. So then my job is getting my clients out of the lawsuit and backing them away from having responsibility with the real estate. And so to that effect, I've worked kind of both sides where, okay, we're going to figure out how to keep the property, or we're going to go, you know what, we're just going to walk away. Now, once they're sold on the courthouse porch, there is, on the tax sales, there is a 2-year right of redemption. So that means, now that's only for a homestead property, Roz. So
gotcha.
If I was, and typically when we see people go to the courthouse because of a homestead property, they're usually elderly, and they maybe haven't had a mortgage, and so they forgot that they have to make it, right? Or they passed away. Then it's not a homestead anymore because that person has passed away. So if it is a homestead, a legal homestead at the time of the sale, then there is a 2-year right of redemption. So that means if I was in my house and for some reason I stopped paying my taxes, there was a whole lawsuit, they got the judgment, they go sell it to you, Roz. I can, for 2 years, I can have someone or myself come back to you and say, what do I owe you to redeem this? And then I can pay you that money.
Right.
Now, I have, there are some other redemption rights and some other types of foreclosures. One time in my entire life have I ever helped someone redeem, because only one time in my entire life has someone had enough money to do the redemption. So, it's not something.
So it usually doesn't happen.
Right. You're correct. Yes. Usually when there's a redemption, my experience has been that there's that older person who's living in the house and maybe they forgot to pay the taxes, whatever, and their kids aren't alerted to it until post judgment. And so the kid sees a letter or whatever it is, it's like, Mom, what'd you do? And then they call me and we kind of get the property back for mom, but or dad. But it usually and unfortunately ends up involving an elderly person.
Oh God, that's unfortunate. So
yes, it is.
Yeah, very good information. Thanks for interjecting there. But back to finding the best deals. So, have a relationship. And we were talking about some of those relationships with attorneys. What about property management companies, title companies, boots on the ground, direct mail? A lot of people find some of the best deals just driving around, because that sore thumb really sticks out sometimes, where there's 18 newspapers at the door or some type of publication. The grass is 2 to 3 feet high. That's a very much so an indication. So what do? You look up who that owner is and write them, go find them, call them, LinkedIn them, message them, find them and say, hey, what do you want for this property? So that's another way. Advertising, Craigslist. Maybe you can advertise, put those, oh God, I don't like these signs. We buy ugly houses, or, we'll buy your house, any condition. You see the signs out there all the time, but that's advertising. And of course, you talked about it, you grazed over it, the foreclosures. There's a short window of time, after that judgment is filed that they're going to be foreclosed on. Maybe you can knock some doors or direct mail, go to that owner and purchase their property before it goes to foreclosures. Then the real estate owned properties, the banks typically, they don't want to be in the housing business. They want to get those properties off the books. So have to find out who those banks and financial institutions are. Then there are auction sales. Different types of auction companies administer sales of properties. We talked about tax sales, and then there are the struck off properties. And those are city or county owned properties where they need to move those properties off the books as well. So as we move into, okay, I found my niche or my niche, and I am finding the best deals. I know where to get those. What's next? The moolah. You got the money? So you gotta find the money.
Hold on.
Yeah.
Before we go there.
Yes.
What is the business structure in which we are going to own and operate these properties?
There you go. Some people get so happy and they're like, come on, let's invest. Can we start with a horror story before we get into what people should be doing structurally? Can you tell what happened, Lauren, without using names, to someone who got themselves in a pickle by not knowing what structure?
Well, I fortunately have gotten to my clients before that, but I can't demonstrate. If you'll allow me, I got this little whiteboard.
Okay, cool.
Okay, so I want to demonstrate to you what I do to my clients who are real estate investors of what could happen.
Okay.
All right, so
this is gonna be good. Y'all listen up. Y'all listen up.
Firstly, I'm a lawyer and not an artist, so there should be no judgment. Okay.
Disclaimer.
Okay. In fact, I hated art class because I could never do it good enough, and it would frustrate me. Yes, it's type A. Okay, so this is a drawing of you and your home that you live in. Okay. Mm-hmm. I've created a line here. This is the LLC line.
Okay.
Okay. So the purpose of an LLC, it allows money to go through to me, but it creates a liability wall. Okay. So in this example, we'll have rental homes just to make it easy.
Gotcha.
Okay. So with my traditional LLC, I'm going to take title in property A. Lauren LLC is owner of A. I'm going to be owner of B, Lauren LLC, and I'm going to C, Lauren LLC. Now, Roz, you go.
Hold on, let's reel back. So one thing, the question I would ask is, so are you developing an LLC for every property that you're purchasing?
So I'm about to get there. You're a little bit ahead.
Okay. I'm sorry.
Most investors are coming in and this is the structure they're using with me. Let me see if I can get these cameras to align. Okay. So I see investors come in using this structure.
Mm-hmm.
And I see investors coming in and doing one LLC per property. Now that gets quite expensive, right? You're looking at $315 filing fee, a lawyer's help potentially, et cetera, et cetera. What I suggest you do is we create what we call a series LLC. Okay?
Wow, I understood that was pretty new to a lot of lawyers, or yes. I guess you've mastered it.
Well, yes. So I had one person resist my series LLC because he was a lawyer and he said, it hasn't gone before the Supreme Court yet. And I'm like, that sounds like an opportunity to me, not a risk, right? Like the Supreme Court hasn't said anything about this yet. So if I have to go to the Supreme Court, I get to argue my case. That sounds good to me. Okay, so what the series LLC does, Roz, is that same line that protects you and your home from something happening down here creates a separation between each property.
Wow.
So when we have just the LLC, Roz, if you and I are going, let's say house B is for sale, and you and I go in and we both trip and break our legs.
Yeah.
So we sue the owner.
Yeah.
And we get a money judgment. We've sued the LLC. We haven't been able to pierce the corporate veil. So we're not going to get anything this guy owns, but we will get a judgment against everything the LLC owns.
Wow.
Okay. So now you and I we now own essentially A, B, and C because of our judgment, right?
Wow.
But if we had taken it in a series, if we have the
Wow.
property set up in a series, we create the LLC wall between the properties.
Wow.
So when I get a money judgment on B, you and I trip and fall in B, same scenario.
Right.
The only thing we can go after is B.
Right. A and C are protected.
Correct.
Yeah.
So this is one LLC, one
Wow.
payment to the Secretary of State, one lawyer doing one thing. And then you just create your series. As you buy each new property, you create a new series. You get an EIN for the whole series. And then each
Okay.
property gets its own EIN. Those roll up through that, and that rolls up through you. But you have all these legal walls blocking you and protecting the property in your LLC. I mean, what's the point of investing and doing all this stuff if all of your properties are at risk because of one incident at one property?
Wow. This is amazing. Wow. How much is the Series LLC to start?
So the artwork I'm going to put away because it's not that. It
By the way, very good. Hand clap. Very good. You broke that down so a child could understand it. Now I understand.
Do it like a child too. I am charging $1,500 for an LLC. There is still the Secretary of State fee and that. So it ends up being just under $2,000.
Okay.
Then it's easy peasy. I create a spreadsheet. If you already own properties, I'm going to deed them into your LLC. I'm going to create a spreadsheet. You'll figure out the naming series. You'll figure out how we'll do it. You'll be able to manage everything in there. And as you go buy new properties, you don't even really need a lawyer's help anymore if you can figure this out on your own, the naming. And then you just name it, and the new deed for each property basically creates that series.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Goodness. That is amazing. I've always wanted to know how that worked, and no one could really ever explain it to me. That is valuable information. So before you go buying all these properties, you need to talk to Lauren, okay? So now I'm going to tell you about the money.
Now we get to the money.
Yeah, now we can talk about the money. So, I mean, there's always the conventional loan method. There are mortgage companies that will lend you with you having a 10 to 20% down payment. So that's one source. USDA, that's a zero loan. If you want to take the slow but sure way, meaning you can afford to stay in a property 1 to 2 years, well, in those rural areas where land is cheaper than inner city, in urban areas, hey, why don't you do a zero down payment or 100% loan USDA, stay in that property 1 to 2 years and then go do it again somewhere else. Seller financing, you bypass the conventional financing method. Maybe there's a seller that wants you to put 10 to 20% down and, make an agreement with them. That seller would be the bank for you. Hard money loans. Now this is a short-term loan, usually no more than 12 months, but it has an absorbent interest rate, and rightfully so. They're giving you money, and they will lend you usually up to 65% as repaired value. There are microloans. If you are a business startup and you're buying properties, there are microloans with different agencies. There are partnerships, also known as equity partners, JV partners. So you're pooling your monies together, okay? If you are a homeowner, why not use the equity in your own home, all right? Pull some of that equity out and go put a down payment on something else. That's a way. Is this getting gooder and gooder with my improper English? Are you developing a vision or a plan, right? For commercial real estate, the SBA has a 504 loan. If you want to purchase your first commercial property and lease out 49% of it, bam, bam, bam. That sounds like a win-win-win to me. And then there is another way. There's a self-directed IRA. So you can purchase real estate with your IRA, and using that IRA, that rental income comes back through the IRA, which is then tax deferred. So those are just a few ways that you can find your niche, find some money, as well as find the best deals. And most important out of all of this, be legally protected with doing it the right way. Attorney Lauren with Cadillac Law can definitely help you. As a real estate broker, we can definitely help you find some of those good deals. We hope that this has been a great help. I'd like to leave my contact information, and then Attorney Lauren can leave hers. You can reach me at 972-679-9311. That's 972-679-9311, or email me, Roz, R-O-Z as in zebra, at arbrookrealty.com. Let me move. See that? ARBROOK realty.com. Lauren?
So my name is Lauren Cadillac. I'm with Cadillac Law. We can be reached by phone at 972-845-1200, or you can email me at Lauren, Lauren, at Cadillac Law, CADILACLAW.net. I'm happy to answer your questions, or we can have a consultation to discuss these things. Before we let people go, Roz, you mentioned a couple type of loans that made my little lawyer mind go, oh.
Okay.
I just want to make sure that if anyone is thinking about doing a seller carry, it's awesome. I think seller carry is a great way to have access to real estate that you wouldn't have traditionally. Please, please, please call me before you sign any documents. That and hard money. Make sure you understand what you're signing up for. Hard money. I've been on the defense end. My client didn't read well enough. So we want to make sure, we want to make sure before you do hard money or a seller finance, please, please, please make sure you have an attorney working for you.
Yes, could get sticky. I understand. Well, thank you so much, Lauren. You've been such a help, and I really enjoy collaborating with you, and you have a wonderful day.
Thanks, you too, Roz. This has been fun.
Bye-bye.